Hi guys, it is another time, an amazing moment. Share some amazing thoughts with youth like us, young people like us. Young people like us can only give our thoughts or advice to people who are in the same bracket going through situations that we have just gotten through and we are fresh. If you're a young person and you're watching this, you are most welcome and I'm very happy.
Or you're listening to us.
And I'm very happy that you're joining us this afternoon. I am Carol Atugonza and he is Cedric Otolo, a young person like me. And today we want to talk to you about something very interesting. And if you want to listen through to whatever we have to say about this thing that is disturbing the young people of late, please ensure that you watch till the end. Today's topic of discussion. Before I introduce the topic of discussion, let me allow the gentleman here, Cedric Otolo, to introduce himself so that we can go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, viewers, and I think you've even said it already.
That's what?
My name is Cedric Otolo, and I'm from Lira, born of a deep village in a district called Amolatar, but you know, with modern nature nowadays, we're far to be in town. So I live in the city of Lira City. So I'm a young entrepreneur, a tech entrepreneur, and author. And it's just a privilege to be able to share with all of you today. So I hope that by the time we finish this discussion, we're gonna have very key things to take away. I don't have a lot to say about myself, but there's a lot more. So just can do a research, because that name is the only name on Google, Cedric Otolo. So there's no any other name.
So excuse me, guys. Today I'm seated with a very unique guy. He's the only person with his name.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, mine is very common.
Maybe when you have a son.
I want to give myself a spotlight like he has done.
When you have a son in the future, you can
name him Otolo.
Cedric.
Cedric is common.
Yeah.
So guys, before I get into or I unveil the topic that you're going to talk about today, I love to share something very special that is dear to me. But I think by the time I'm done with this, you guys will have an idea of what we are about to talk about. So as I was growing up, I got an opportunity to be brought up by parents that just let me be somehow, like 50-50. They control you and still they give you an opportunity to experience things.
Yeah.
But since COVID started, I don't know, something very crazy. I think I got to get interested in doing so much in a very short period of time. I don't know whether it's a sickness. Actually, I'm struggling with focusing on a specific things. And I'm doing this. After 2 weeks, I'm interested in this. After 2 weeks, I'm interested in this. After 2 months, after 6 months. And like you find something that I be interested in for some time, then after some time I'm no longer interested in that and I'm moving on to something very different. And the gentleman I'm seated with today, the guy does things, guys. He has given here a very brief intro, but guys, he does very many things. He's going to tell us his passions, but I think he's doing each of his passions, and some of us are failing just to keep up with 3-4 passions. And then there is a me that thinks that someone has to have one passion. So in case I get other things that want to look like passions, of course I just neglect those and put them at the back of my mind, thinking that I have only one passion. So unveiling the topic of today's discussion is, how are you able to manage or balance or optimize and exploit your passions? Are you supposed to have one passion? And if you have more than one, how do you manage to be able to utilize all of those? Is it even okay for someone to have more than one passion? So Cedric, what is passion to you? What is passion?
Wow. Well, thank you so much for saying that. So I think it's one thing that so many people struggle with when it deals with passion and things related to that. In a very basic layman way, I would want to say that passion is the inner drive that keeps you awake, that keeps you alert, that keeps you going back to something, that keeps you wanting to be, wanting to do, irrespective of the social status, irrespective of financial status, irrespective of any kind of pressure that is coming around. That inner thing that makes you say, okay, I want to do this. If need be, borrowing a phone to record a video, if need be, getting a loan to do this, it is where your passion lies. So passion is the only force that drives you to make things happen.
So passion is that inner obsession or superpower within that forces you to do something regardless of whatever is going on.
Exactly.
So guys, I'm going to check the Google meaning of passion. So the Google meaning of passion is, it says, it is a strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement of something or about doing something. Like you need, the enthusiasm is that deep drive.
Deep drive, the deep interest that
gets you excited
exactly
to do something.
Yeah.
So
So
just in case you're
that's
confused
passion.
about
So
passion.
yeah.
So do you have some passions?
Yes, I have a lot of passions.
For
So
example,
I have passion in tech, IT. I have passion in speaking. So passionate about speaking. I'm pretty passionate about writing, but I'm more passionate about listening to writing. I am passionate now. There's passion and then there's talent. Now I hope we don't.
no, please stick to passion.
Yeah. So let's stick to passion for today. So I have quite a number of passion, as I said, and also I've been facing a very big challenge in the past few years. I remember in 2019, I sat down, then I realized that I had about 12 things that I was doing, and I was literally leading most of them. And I said, this is not going anywhere. Let's square down to 3. So to zero back down to.
So were all those passions?
Well, they were basically things that I just loved doing and venture into, not being guided, of course. But then I came to realize that I can square down to 2 or 3 major things, and then let other things find their ways into fixing themselves into the major things that I'm doing. Okay, so those are the passion that I have, and a lot of us suffer because we have so many things in our hearts, and then each and every day we tend to do things different. We want to do this today. After 2 weeks, you're into something else, just like how you say. After 3 weeks, you're into something else. And based on our conversation, I want to talk about 5 things.
3 passions.
No, not 3 passions.
Okay.
I want to talk about, as our topic, we want to see how do we handle those multiple things that comes, because I'm someone who does a lot of things at the same time. And the first thing that I would love to yes.
there is something that goes on with young people when someone tells, like all over the internet, there is certain type of content that people who have been there are telling young people that find your passion and find a way how to monetize your passion. And we are getting lost, or like young people, we are getting so stressed to deep down to know, like, what is that one passion? If I have, like, say 12, or after 2 months those 12 might have changed and I have some new 12. Like, is it why people say you have, like, some people who say that it is supposed to be one passion? It's supposed to be one passion or more than one. Like, if it's more than one, are they passions or interests?
Okay, now are they passion or interest? So the way that I can approach that is to realize your passion, then to understand what you're really passionate about, first of all, needs you to evaluate yourself. Which brings me back to my first point, that I would say that for you to understand all these details, sit yourself down and ask yourself, what is it that I do with most convenience? What is it that when I do, I feel peace? what is it that when I do, I feel happy? Someone told me that one way to becoming peaceful by getting rid of some numbers
In the phone.
in the phone. Then you'll find your peace, which that's not my point. But once you get to realize that if I dance, this is the best joy that I get. Even if someone tries to tell me not to dance, you realize that this is the best thing I was created for. And you find it very easy for you to do that and fulfill it. That becomes the first step to getting to understand that sense of passion that you have and the direction that you want to go. It's very key that when you find those things that makes you yourself, makes you happy, makes you fulfilling, then makes you come alive. It is a sense to driving you towards your passion. Now, the first thing that I want to say, as I said earlier on, is make a list. Make a list of evaluation of things that you do. And then understand what is it among all these 6 things that I've listed makes me the happiest person ever when you do it. What is it that out of all the things makes me feel like I am doing what I am supposed to do? Now, that is the first step to realizing your passion. Now, when you get to realize, you find that sometimes you might find many things that you're interested in, that you actually love doing. And there is one thing that, for example, me, I've come to conclusion that there are 3 main things that I do. There is tech, there is speaking, then there's writing. Now, every little things, every other thing that I venture into doing falls under those 3. When it comes to community empowerment, I will bring the topic of tech and then use the tech that I do to reach out to them. Now, when it comes to speaking, I'll speak about tech. I'll speak about tech, I'll speak about youth, I'll speak about livelihood. And then when it comes to writing, I'll write about tech, I'll write about livelihood. So
they complement each other.
Exactly. Now, it brings me to my second point, say that see how best can you merge some of the passion you have. If you're passionate about music and technology, you can end up doing, sound engineering. If you're passionate about videos and tech, you can end up doing, multimedia. Now, try to find how can you make these key things, these top 3 things that you do, work concurrently. Because it's going to be challenging for you to keep doing those 3 things separately. For example, I'm passionate about medical things, and I am doing music. I mean, at night you're on stage, maybe you're the DJ, but you have to be
They are 2 different things.
Very 2 opposite things. So, and if you find those things that collides and then conflicts with one another, it's going to be very hard for you to just progress. Try to bring the different passions you have together and make them work together. Third thing that we need to do to deal with all this different kind of passion is time management. Now, the problem comes that if we can't really make the best time of how we do things, for example, I sit on, about 4 different boards of different organizations, and I have different times scheduled for all these programs. I have time scheduled for my class. I have class from Monday to Friday. I have time scheduled for my work at Kakebe, which is a 24-hour job. I have time scheduled for working with all these other organizations. I have time scheduled for coming to do things like this, a podcast and everything. So you can only be effective in running 3 things if you're able to manage time. The biggest thing you can ever do to me to disappoint me is not keep time. I hate people who don't. I hate them with passion. Like, I hate them.
But guys, you didn't keep time today.
No, I text you and I said I'll be 5 minutes late. So managing time is a primary key principle of managing multiple passions that you have. Because as long as you can set times for each of them, you're able to go about with them. Now, it drives me to the 4th point that I would love to say is schedule them appropriately. You cannot juggle or put everything that you want to accomplish or you want to do all together. Leaving alone my 3rd point, my 4th point is talking about scheduling your time appropriately. If you're able to schedule your programs, you're handling this and that and that, once you give it a perfect schedule, once you give it a really good flow of work, you'll find that you're going to deliver. You're going to deliver. Maybe you're in music, you're into tech and everything, you are definitely going to deliver. I have a friend who is doing a lot of things. Day he's going for work, in the evening he's going for choir practice, and Sundays he's singing on stage, which is perfect for him. because he has perfect schedule. So be able to schedule everything that you want to do. I have a many there. As long as you can schedule and manage them well, it's going to be good. But then my last point would be a bit contradictory. Everything I've been saying. Now, if it is in your power to square down to one thing, if it is in your power, if you can manage all this passion and be like, let me square down to this, because we will realize that when you have so much going on, you will lose focus. You will lose the ability to focus and lose the ability to just deliver. Now, if you can bring everything that you do, square them down, and then see what is most productive, what is most efficient, which passion can I use to turn what I'm doing into resources that I can benefit from. If I'm passionate about playing football, how can I earn a living from that? So square down to something that at the end of the day will make you sit down and be like, I can buy, for students, we can say I can buy Rolex, to eat some Rolex. So once you have the capacity to do that, you realize that you're not going to first waste a lot of effort into running after each and everything that your heart desires. Schedule them, have the best time, and square down to a few things. You can do one thing at a time. My mother told me, Cedric, you are very talented, you're very gifted, you have crazy ideas, but what you need to do, get a book, put all the things on paper, and then see, one day, you're going to step up and say, okay, let me do this. You cannot do everything at the same time. You cannot do everything. Find that best niche, find that crazy thing that drives you crazy, and then do it. Then you realize that you'll be happy, you'll be stress-free, and then you live a happy life because you're more focused and you're more directed to a few things. So I think that is what I can say in relation to passion. Sorry if I've made you very confusing in the process, but once you have them, you have 2 or 3 things, sit down, look at what is best for you. Secondly, be able to manage time so that you're able to work alongside with all these things that you have. Thirdly, be able to make sure that you schedule everything that you want to do appropriately. Fourthly, make sure that every passion that you have drives you toward making a livelihood. Don't just be passionate, but let the passion serve you. Let the passion give you food. Let the passion feed you. Let the passion... Get what I mean?
I get what you mean.
Yes.
Actually, guys, it is okay to have multiple passions. But where the problem comes in, you become a jack of all trades.
Yes.
So he's simply saying, can you get a book like the way the mother told him? Write down all the things that you want, you feel like you have a lot of enthusiasm to do. Then if you can't combine them so that they reduce like to 2 or 3, zero down to specific things, or pick one thing, or approach these different things in seasons. You say, I'm going to do this. When I reach this level of this passion, I will add on something else. Because right now, the people say follow your passion, but if you're following a passion that is not going to put food on your table at this time of the economy, I think that passion is equally useless. And there are some passions where it grows very slowly that you can't earn a living from it from day one. So that's where maybe you just go for something that maybe you hate, do it, learn, practice, and see that you're good at it. Because we usually hate things because you're not good at them. When I practice and be good at something, I end up loving it, and before I know it, it is a new announced passion.
Now, are you supposed to love what you do or do what you love? If you've understood that point, you'll know the conclusion.
So guys, you don't have to love something to do it. You can do something, then you love it along the way. The more you begin to do it and it's effortless and everyone is asking you for assistance, it's just like you love it and now it becomes a passion, and that's
and sometimes you find that is where you're supposed to move.
Yes.
In a hard way.
But in the first place, it didn't look like it looked like a no-go zone area.
Exactly.
So
that's right.
If you have a passion, like me, say like football, if you play football in this country, will you be able to provide for maybe your siblings or provide for your girlfriend or just have a minimum life? Because football is going to take you like the next 5 years without you getting something that maybe you're developing yourself as a young person or paying rent.
If you don't do it well, because once you master the heart of it, and then you see how best do I really make this become a livelihood for me, you'll see how to navigate around the things. But if you just move out and then show up, and then you're going to waste your time, your efforts, and then you find that at the end of the day you're seated and there's nothing on the table.
Guys, so ensure always you have something that bring the money. Even if it's not the passion may bring the money in the future. But if you have something that is initial, where you get some money, it helps you get money to finance your passion. Let me say my passion is swimming. So I'm going to do this marketing that I suck at because I have no option. I have to survive. I have to get the money, because even if I was doing swimming, still I need money to pay for the swimming membership. I need to buy costumes, all those things. So even if it was passion to go to the swimming pool, I do not have money to pay for the swimming membership. So I have to get something that maybe I suck at, get so good at it, and earn from that, so that I use that to finance my passion later. So the other thing is that as young people, I feel like it is hard, because I'm also going through the process of zeroing down to one thing. I feel like I'm missing out on something. I feel like aren't I wasting my 20s? Like, aren't I supposed to be doing all these 5 things? But I think it is a good idea to zero down to one thing, because when you zero down to one thing, I think you move faster than someone who is trying to pull 3-4 ropes and going in the same, like in the same direction. Someone who is pulling one, the load is lighter and you're able to move faster. Like if you would take like 5 years to build onto that passion to be to the success level, if you have other 3 things that you are pulling around with, it is going to take you double that time to be able to achieve that thing. You just find yourself, discover what you love, do. Okay, if you don't know your passion yet, we are going to that next, but find something that you can zero down. If you have something very multiple, I think the best advice is pretend like those things don't exist, like you're just keeping them for the next year or the next month, so that you proceed or work on those things. Okay, even if you're doing them, maybe you're not giving them a lot of attention. Let me say I'm just doing it for fun, but not doing it with a target of maybe if it's swimming, I can just go once in a week, once in a while to the swimming pool and swim because I love it. But when you have decided to take on your passion, you are doing it with a target or a goal, like I want to go and swim in, represent the country somewhere, I want to go for Olympics for swimming. There you are doing it with a target. But right now I can do it because I love to do it. Then there is a time I'm waiting for where I will do it. Like I wake up in the morning, I go to the pool, I be there the whole day because I know I'm training for the Olympics. So there are people who do not know their passion. They are hearing us talking about time, scheduling activities. They are hearing zeroing down to one passion. You don't have to have very many things. If there is someone who is watching this video and they do not have an idea of what their passion is, how can they find their passion?
Well, I was expecting this to be the next set of meeting. So one thing that I would want to say that would help an individual to find your passion is now passion is of course that big enthusiasm that you have. Someone might ask, what is enthusiasm? So enthusiasm is the
big force,
the interest that you have in something that makes you just come alive. So here's a few things that I want to say for you to find your passion. Number one, what is it that you can do with ease and makes you happy? Number two, What is it that when you do it, you find that you have a fulfillment? You have, like, even if someone comes and
you're
slaps
happy.
you are happy. You just find it very
Effortless.
fulfilling to do. That is where you're passionate. 3, what is it that you are never obliged or you are never forced to do? Like, for example, let me give this. When I was in P6, we had, P5. When I was in P5, we had a computer lesson that was in P6. They teach only P6. But then I was in P5. But then every break time, I make sure I run and be in front of the laboratory. Like, I'd be like, then sir says, you still have 1 year to be here, so go back. But every day I go, sir, please, just let me stand at the door. Just let me, and that's, if you ask my teacher right now, he'll tell you.
The real definition of enthusiasm.
Exactly. I had so much interest. I was like, I need to know how this works. I need to understand this. Now, when I reached P6, we had people who I was in the same class with, but they never even bothered. They never bothered. Even if we were going to the computer lab, they never bothered because they had no passion for it. But me, when I was in P6, I make sure that every time I'm looking at when is break time, because we normally have computer lessons after break. What time is break time? It's taking long because I need to get in the lab. And computer lessons was never missed by anyone. So that is when I became to realize that this is my thing. Now, what is that something that you don't need to be forced by your parent? You don't need to be forced by anyone. You just find yourself doing it. You just find yourself venturing into. That is where your passion lies. Passion only comes when you identify and understand that something happens out of the blue without any much efforts needed. You find yourself there. And that is where you can find your livelihood. I am venturing into ICT. I had passion for it. I still have passion for it. And no one can stop my passion, even if anything happens. So I believe you've understood my point. That one thing that you don't need to be forced. You don't need to be... Alright, you get my point.
I get his point.
Exactly.
You need to find that thing that is effortless for you, something that you love.
Thank you.
Something no one is going to push you. Like that drive to do that thing comes from within.
Now,
From within.
when you have that and then you have mastered it. Now, I had passion for ICT, okay, when I was little. Now, how can I make that one to become now a livelihood for me? I came to school. I'm not studying medical. Anyway, when I was in P6, I wanted to be a doctor. I am not studying a medical course. I am doing ICT, which is in line with my passion. Now, having so much passion for ICT, and I come to school and I start studying, accounting. Those are like two different things. Anyway, there's an ICT in accounting, but if I go for courses like computer engineering, software engineering, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, that is when you realize that you're going to succeed much in that area because, first of all, you have the interest. Even if things go wrong, you will want to see how do I make it work. Now,
Right.
I have passion for ICT. My parents tell me to come and study, being a doctor, which I actually don't want. You'll find that even if anything small happens, you will never even try to find a way out because this is not my thing. Why would I need to stress? Stuff like that. So passion makes you move irrespective of the circumstance.
So I think some other thing that can help someone that is watching this and you do not know what your passion is to try things. Like, just let yourself wander.
Exactly.
Do things. Everything that comes to your head, do it. Like, as young people, we are very privileged. I usually tell people, anyone who tells me that, Carrie, you're doing a lot every day, today we find you doing this, tomorrow we find you doing this, I simply tell those people, this is my time to explore.
My pastor told me that he's very young to specialize right now.
Yeah.
That is why he wants to see what can he do best, stuff like that.
You can approach things in 2 seasons. Like, yes, you are looking for that one thing that you can specialize in. But if you don't know it, still it is a problem. So how do you know it? By trying out different things that excite you. Things that excite you and do not excite you. There are things that we try out and they do not excite us, but the more we master them, they become exciting to us. And the drive is there. The enthusiasm is there because we have mastered the art of those given things. But if we did not try out even those things that we didn't have interest in, but we saw there was an opportunity, we could never realize that would be our passion.
Yeah.
So go ahead, try out things, like make yourself uncomfortable. There is no reason of being comfortable this young.
Yeah, when you're 20 and you're 22,
You have nothing to lose. You don't have a reputation. You don't have a family that when you do certain thing and it flops, that your family that
going
is
to
depending on you
kill
will.
you because you've started something, it didn't
You
work
don't
out.
have anything to lose, and if there is someone that is watching this and you are scared of trying out something,
Just try
like,
it.
you're scared of trying out something, maybe you're scared of criticism,
Yes.
you're scared of
Oh,
what
no.
my friends
No.
will say.
Yeah.
So the things that I put at the back of myself when I was starting like my YouTube channel, like people who are saying, Carol, the video quality is bad. You see, those things are not what, like people will give you they give you the insecurities, they will impose them on you by saying all those negative
And
things.
they come in form of advice, but you need to first sit down and be like, okay,
what do I
what
really
do I
want?
really want to get out of this? So, and there's some things that we do that will not make us succeed, but they'll give you a step towards your direction.
Yes, you might right now be recording videos like right now, but you're never going to use this skill anyway. It's even never going to monetize
maybe even in the
anywhere.
next 2 years, it's going to die out. But that is going to push you to the next step.
To another thing that you may be doing. Let me say, maybe you have an opportunity, you have started your business and all that, but you already have the skill to speak on camera. So you will not have to invite someone to be the brand ambassador of your business. You can speak about your business.
Sorry to say that, but yeah.
And if that thing does not use in that moment, I believe there is some skill that you gain from it that you will use in some other way. Maybe a problem solving skill that you got from your other passion that you had, and it helps you have a story to talk about.
Exactly.
Even if the things are bad at the start and you really believe in this thing, there can be someone who has said, Cedric has told us to specialize and pick one thing. Me, I've picked football. And football, although it takes 10 years to yield, I'm there for it. So such a person, just be there from day one. Document your journey and share your work.
That's very key. Document your journey, share your work.
Let people come back and see where you started from. Like, people will see you 10 years from now, and they will be motivated. But if you documented where you started from, like someone will say, oh, when she started, she was very, she was very bad. But as time moved on, he went on improving. Like I think people are so interested in how the whole thing just got together. Like, they just don't want to see a finished product right there.
So I think you've really brought something really key in my mind is, putting your journey together, because people will not know that you can do it if you've not made them see. It's not about bragging what you're doing. Please, if you're out there and you keep your ego of saying, I don't want people to know what I'm doing. If you're getting married and you don't want people to know your spouse, that's fine. But if you really want to move out there in business, in anything, you need the social capital. You need the people that can see what you're doing and then refer people to you. You don't need to be silent. If you're writing a book, write it, keep posting about it, keep telling us how you're doing.
Every chapter you write, let people
post
know.
it. If you're a speaker,
post
your content. So don't sit and say that I don't want people to know what I'm doing. What are you aiming at? Are you doing it for yourself? Unless you want to achieve your own personal goals, but personal goals, you will achieve them. At the end of the day, you need people. So the people will not know unless you let them know. So don't be silent. Don't put your things down on the low. Please put your things out there and let us know how can we be of help. How can people support you in everything that you're gonna do? So that's it.
People will connect you to, because we need people to get us to the next level.
Exactly.
So people can only connect you to the other opportunities that you need, that you couldn't reach by yourself, by you showing them that you're doing something. If you're a writer, maybe they need a software engineer who has some writing skills. But you have been sharing your poems, you have been sharing your articles, and people realize that you are a writer. So if they are looking for someone with that added skill, you're the person that they will think about. But if you hid your work and you hide it, they will say, he's just a usual software engineer.
So let us know what you do. Let people know. They'll be able to support you.
Last remarks?
Oh wow, last remarks. So my last remark to all of you is, number one, don't be quiet on the good things you're good at. Let the people know, let us know, so that we see, not just we, but so that the whole people see, the whole world see, and then get to support your vision. Secondly, find that thing that makes you come alive, that makes you you, that makes you relevant, that makes you happy, that makes you be in an environment of saying, I am so excited I have ventured into this. That is where you find your niche. And then thirdly, I want to say, please be a good timekeeper. Manage time. Managing time is a primary key principle of actually venturing and being successful in what you do. Schedule your task appropriately, put it in the right manner, and then see that what time is best to handle which kind of work, what time is best to handle this passion, what time is best to handle the other passion. And then at the end of the day, you sit down and be like, I think I've ventured into the right department. Lastly, I want to say, don't forget to seize your moment.
And my last word.
Yes.
Today we talked about enthusiasm,
Yes.
the drive, and all those things. You may not know how things will add up for you. You may not know where you're going to get the resources to do a certain thing that you want to do. You may not know, like, you just have an idea, but even you don't know where to start to talk to someone and say, where can I even start? Please, the only thing I can tell you is always show up regardless of anything, like anything. Whether you are sure of what you're doing, whether you're not sure of what you're doing, whether you are scared of your next step, whether you are very sure of what will come next, or you're very uncertain of what is going to come next, or the outcomes. Always show up no matter what.
Amen.
And if you reach this part of the video, my sincere appreciation, and I hope to see you in the next video. And please leave a comment so that we know that you reached this far.
You reached this far.
Yes.
And if you reach this far and you leave a comment, I think I have a gift. We shall get that gift when they reach this far.
So if you reach this far, comment that I reached this far, and let us know what you were able to pick out from this video. Cedric is going to be able to pick someone to give the gift. He has not revealed the gift because the gift is a gift. So when he reveals the person who has won the gift, I'll let you know.
Blessings.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure getting to talk to you, and may God bless you all.
Have a good time, and bye.